Hi, I'm Mitra. I'm a board-certified licensed tour guide in Rome and a virtuoso travel advisor. Today, come with me to the Circus Maximus. Situated right in between the Palatine Hill and the Aventine Hill of Rome, a short walk away from the Colosseum, you're going to find what looks like a rather endless long stretch of grass. But this is the home of the largest racing stadium of ancient Roman times, the Circus Maximus. Built already in the 6th century BC, it was active for centuries well into the AD era, and then eventually it's going to fall prey for the recycling program of the papacy. All the rocks are going to be removed starting in the 1500s and put into other places such as churches and cardinals' houses. There is a very small section in the furthest down southern part where excavations have been done in the 21st century, showing you a section of seats and part of the Circus Maximus. Here, mainly chariot races took place, and chariot races were quite an intensive game here in Rome. 9 laps had to be done around the circus itself, and there would have been 9 dolphins, gilded, that were lifted up on mechanical arms so they would form a complete arch so the racers would know when they were done racing around. There were also obelisks in the center called the spina, the spine of it at all. Very, very impressive. Our teams were divided into colors, so color-coded racing teams. The most popular ones were white, red, blue, and green. Horses would pull the chariots, between 4 horses but up to 12. So it's like a Formula One of antiquity. Now the wheels, however, were made of wood, which means that in a high-speed, fast and furious style type of race, you're catching fire on your wooden wheels if you're not careful. So the team members of each racing chariot, they would be in the corners where you have to slow down ever so slightly for turning with huge buckets of water and throw them on the wooden wheels so they would not in fact catch fire. There was huge cash money to be made in these races. Chariot racers start as early as 13 to 15 years of age and were considered veterans if they had survived past the age of 19. The biggest victor on record is a man named Scorpius with 2,000 victories registered. You can come and visit it just for free. There's a lot of events that are held here too. Sometimes we have the International Horse Jumping Circuit, the Premium League. We also have concerts here as well. But mainly it's a nice place to take a jog or sit under one of the beautiful umbrella pines, enjoy the shade in the footsteps of history in the heart of Rome.
So Mitra, can I ask you a few questions about the Circus Maximus?
As many as you want.
Okay. You were talking about big money prizes. Is there anything else they were competing for ever? Was it always about the money?
Well, money is really the end all be all. I mean, status as well. Then they can have private sponsors. They're sponsored athletes. So of course there is a status, prestige, of course being sponsored with items, clothing, houses, lovers.
Mitra, tell me where the obelisks are.
Well, one of the obelisks that were found here was actually pieced together and put into the Piazza Navona, central fountain. It's one of the obelisks here, and there you find them in the center of Rome.
Mitra, which colored team were you rooting for?
What kind of questions are these?
I don't know. The questions that the people are asking. Well, that I'm asking.
I love blue. Blue's my favorite color.
Go blue?
Go blue.
Go green.
All right. Fight to the death.
Did you just challenge me to a fight to the death? Mitra, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
My final question would be, how do they know all this? Like, how do they know which colors they had for the teams? How do they, like, it just looks like a giant field of grass. How do we know this?
We're good at written records, even in ancient Rome. Descriptions passed down over time.
Tell me more.
The Circus Maximus was in use from the 6th century BC to pretty much the 6th century AD. Once the Colosseum is built, it becomes the primary venue, but the Circus Maximus will still be used. It was a huge venue. Historians speculate that up to 250,000 people could have been seated here. The seating plan will, however, vary through the ages. Etruscan kings are going to be the first ones to build this right here. Julius Caesar expands the seating chart, and then there would have been an elevated, almost temple-like positioning for the emperor to sit here and watch the game, so he could be elevated like a god and watch the game with the gods themselves. The track itself is 500 meters from one side to another, but the building would have been 641 meters. So give or take with my conversion, I'm sure some mansplainer is going to show up in the comments giving me to the margin the exact decimal, but it's about 1,500 feet inside the actual arena with gates of entering, and all the floor would have been sanded.
You're an inch off.
First one showed up already. Et tu, Brute. So then what happens to the Circus Maximus? It goes into disuse around the 6th century AD. Now this is of course a rivulet stream of floodings to come, so it does get flooded several times already when it was in use, so very unintentional floodings of the circus. Then once it's abandoned, it will start being flooded repeatedly, and it slowly actually sinks into the ground, and that will become its destiny. So in the 1500s, the majority is already down underneath the ground level, and then the Pope started digging out slowly. But it was a really impressive arena. I mean, we don't just have the chariot races, although it would have been the most famous for that, but of course also gladiator battles as well, and even animal hunts. I mean, Pompeii staged an entire battle between 20 elephants and the barbarian hordes inside of here. It's quite an impressive scene for sure to be witness to all this.
Holy, tell me more about that story with elephants.
The elephants, but it's a tricky story in Rome, you know, because people have selective empathy. So the elephants are brought in with a lot of other exotic animals. I mean, half the reason why people come and watch these games, they've never seen lions and tigers and bears, oh my, ever. But elephants, they actually invoke so much sympathy with the Romans. There is a story about how they were all cornered in, they were starting to trumpet and weep openly as elephants will do while eyes were running. And the people got really angry actually at Pompey, and they said that he was heartless and he was the only barbarian in the field. And while the elephant games didn't get outright banned, but they weren't the most popular ones. But what's a really interesting fact is actually that unlike what some people believe, the Romans didn't keep exotic pets in their villas, and they didn't eat them, which was a strange thing I kept hearing years ago, but they actually would send them back to their place of origin. Now this is of course hard to track what happens to the animals once they are brought back to their place of origin, because the Romans didn't exactly have rangers and keepers and conservatories to make sure that they were reintegrated back into society of wildlife very well, but they did bring them back. Interesting, huh?
Whoa. Well, thanks for that wonderful explanation about this. You can turn a field of grass into an amazing story.
That's why you need a tour guide. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning a few facts about the Circus Maximus. Don't forget to subscribe. There's a new video out every single week on this channel. And if you want to travel to Italy or anywhere else in the world, just let me know. Remember, if you dream it, me as your travel advisor, I will deliver it. Ciao!
Team Green!
Blue.